So, that was not bad. That was not a shithole. The thing is, I liked the middle of nowhere neighborhood in Chesterfield. It was an appeal to the middle of nowhere neighborhood because A, it was closer to it was technically closer to New York City if I ever wanted to commute just to check out the store from time to time on the highway. But the problem is that every single piece of housing stock in that neighborhood needs a fuck ton of renovation. And I know myself well enough to know that I will never make those renovations properly. I will hire the wrong contractor to make those renovations. I will not be able to tell if the contractor is screwing me because I lack the requisite knowledge to be able to tell if the contractor is screwing me. And I don't want to fucking turn it into like Eugene version 2. Fuck that. So if I need to hiring a contractor to, I don't know, if I want to do something optional, that's fine. Or basic. So for instance, basic is installing a mini split system for air conditioning and heat. I don't mind getting somebody to do that because that's basic. You know, redoing every window on the house and the outside of it, and why is water leaking over here and all that other bullshit. No, fuck that. Like there's cosmetic, there's like, you know, run of the mill, like install a mini split, and then there's all of your windows need custom frames. And just no, I don't want to deal with that. I know that that's gonna drive me insane. But this seems like it's actually well put together. She never said that the roof was bad. She said that it's this old, so you should look at it. But I know what that means because you're a realtor. So if you're a realtor, when you say you may want to look at this, that means that's realtor for this is broken.
Or it's going to be soon.
Yes. I mean, like, she's a nice realtor. She's a kind realtor. She seems to be an honest realtor. But at the end of the day, realtor is realtor. So I would want to make sure that the roof is inspected thoroughly and adjust any offer made on that particular property accordingly. That's nice.
Yeah.
Like that's something I could. Again, you're near a Whole Foods, you're near a Trader Joe's, you're near shopping. It's like a 10-minute drive to go over and see that beautiful pond from yesterday, the lake, near nature. You're right by a highway that goes to Boston, or as you would say if you live there, Boston, Mass.
It's a nice home. Don't get me wrong. You don't need the pool, 100%.
You need the pool there for Oreo.
Oreo, he could drown in there.
Oreo's not going to drown in a pool. I do notice that have you noticed the yellow lights here are yellow for about a second longer than New York City yellows?
No. I never noticed.
Because it is.
Look at that blue over there. I'm looking at the cars here. A lot of these cars are like Hondas and Chevys, and I don't see many Mercedes or BMWs or Jaguars or...
It's very interesting that in the neighborhood we live in, which is a low-income neighborhood, you go outside and every other car is a modern BMW or Mercedes or Audi.
Yeah.
And then you go to a neighborhood with nice houses and everything else, and you see a bunch of Honda Accords, Nissan Sentras.
In 500 feet, turn right onto New Hampshire 111.
I want to say something, but I don't know if it's a
Now
sign
turn
or
right
for me
onto
to say
New
it.
Hampshire 111.
Some things are, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. That's my motto, Erica. That's always been my motto. If there's anything my channel is known for, it's if you can't say anything nice, Erica, don't say anything at all.
Says the guy who says F up.
I don't understand this. That's a red. Is a red on an exit to a highway?
I'll drop some hints, son.
I saw 3 people go through that damn red. Did you see that, Erica? That was a little bit of New York there, because I'm like, I've never seen a red on an entrance to a highway before. Does this count? And then I see 2 or 3 cars go right through the red. And then I'm like, oh shit.
Now take the US 3 north ramp on the right.
Oh, fuck you. You're not... See that guy trying? Nice try.
This is my thinking.
This is why I don't like having the car on chill instead of standard. I like fast acceleration so that when somebody tries to speed up to like 50 miles an hour to cut me off getting on a ramp.
In 500 feet.
See, that was a little bit of New York right there, where I put my turn signal on. And after I put my turn signal on, he's like, no, you're not going into my lane and taking an exit. And he just speeds up. That's a standard New York City dick move right there. Kind of wonder if somebody else is taking the New York City path here. I'm sorry, Eric, I interrupted you. I apologize.
More people here are homeowners than renters. One of the things that was brought up in our the previous video that isn't in this recording is that the realtor was saying that homeowners, they're going to be more swayed to selling their home rather than renting, because I believe New Hampshire, they only allow you to have 1 month rent as security deposit. If you have a $500,000 home and you only have, let's say, $2,500 for your security deposit, what if you get a bad renter? What if they decide to say, screw you, I'm going to steal all your appliances, trash the place, you know, that kind of stuff. You're going to be out way more than that.
I don't think I'd ever want to be a landlord. There's too much risk involved.
And that was a good point. I never thought about it that way.
There's too much risk in everybody who thinks it's very, very easy to become a landlord and just be a passive income and blah 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 that just read some book on it. They're gonna get fucked.
My worry, if I ever became a landlord, my worry is that if, let's say, someone didn't want to pay me or someone couldn't pay me, the moment that I try to evict them, they would see me as Erica is made out of money, therefore I'm gonna trash her place and basically ruin it, because if I'm getting kicked out, I have nothing to lose anyway. It's a very animalistic, visceral kind of unclassy response.
This is one of the reasons that I've never fired somebody and given them notice. I would rather give you severance pay than fire you with notice that you're being fired. Because I've heard this before. If you're supposed to give notice when you're quitting, why is it employers don't give notice when firing you? And it's because when giving like, if I were, and maybe it's because I'm a piece of shit of a human being, and perhaps that's the case, but if I'm firing somebody, if I were being fired, I would not care if I broke something, if I did something improperly and something broke, or data got out that shouldn't get out. Why do I care? Because I got fired. And I think there's something similar when you get evicted from a home. If you're being evicted, you're already getting evicted, so why do you care if you scratch something on the wall? Like, because think about it, if you scratch the wall, if you do a really nasty large scratch or something, that's going to be a pain in the ass paint job. But you're not going to take somebody over to court over a scratch. So there's this gray area, which is, it's not enough to take you to court over, but it's enough that it costs a lot of money to fix.
Yeah.
And it's difficult to prove that this particular person did it. Where I don't want to deal with that altogether. I don't want, like, I'm not the type of person that has the mindset to be a landlord. Yeah, when you said why don't they just rent it for passive income versus buy, no, especially if you're at retirement age, is that really what you want to do with your life?
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's what at that moment it made sense to me.
I don't understand your so yeah. Is that a transition? An ending statement?
No, I was just commenting. Don't look to it.
Exact change.
I'm trying to tell people to get exact change.
Remember in Florida where they told us that there was one place that required exact change? It didn't work with an easy pass. You had to have a sun pass. And they wanted exact change. That was horseshit. And they didn't take dollars either. So it's like, I have a credit card, I have dollars, and I have 2 quarters. And with all of that, I could not pay.
Going back to what I was saying, I'll say it anyway, even though once people might get butthurt from what I was going to say. Don't worry, I'll work on my wording. The difference between people in Brooklyn and the people in here is that you have more proportion of people who can buy their own home here. You're not renting. They have a mortgage, that's it. If you feel like you can never ever buy an apartment in Brooklyn, you would say, I gotta live my life. I gotta go ahead and buy the expensive this and expensive that, because why am I saving up money anyway, right? I might as well use my funds for other things, because buying a house is out of the question. How do you stand out, right? If you can't stand out with your house and you don't have any status symbol or anything like that, it would be your luxury items. That's my stance on it. If you're renting, you could say, okay, let me buy a nice car if I can't buy a nice house at least.
If you're not, if you see there's there's no chance of you ever owning anything, then you might as well say just live for the moment. I think that's the mindset people get. And when they look and they see, okay, if I want to buy a house here, it's $4 million. You know, I make 40 to 80,000, maybe 80,000 if I'm lucky. Usually 20 to 40,000 a year. I'm kind of fucked. You know, might as well enjoy my life and rent a luxury car that I can't actually afford, or lease a luxury car that I can't afford. Because, and that's what you see on our blog. Like, something tells me, and I could be wrong, that all of the Audis and BMWs that you see along our block are not owned by the people that live in our neighborhood.
100% they're not owned.
Like, a lot of those cars cost more than mine.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, most of those cars cost more than mine. And I didn't even have a car until a few months ago. I just don't. Maybe they all bought GameStop at $4. Who knows?
Doubt it.
I don't know.
Now, people do what they want with their funds. Sometimes I notice these things and I just kind of shake my head because I think to myself, you're never gonna get out of the cycle if you keep spending your money like this.
I used to shake people that I knew for over 10 years and say, you know, feel free to do whatever you want with your life. You can tell me to go fuck myself. It's not my business. This is what you appear to make. These are the money problems you appear to have. You are living in an apartment with ceiling and floor glass in Williamsburg with no roommates. Can you explain this to me? Like, again, you don't have to explain it to me, but I would like to understand. Because this apartment costs $1,500 more than mine. That's, you know, $18,000 a year that you're pissing out the window. And that $18,000 a year could go towards paying off your debt, paying your bills, and having a little emergency fund so that when something happens, you're not destroyed. Or, you know, do you need to drive this particular BMW? Like, would you be dead in a Corolla? I know it's a Corolla, but like, or even if you just got a used 5-year-old SUV rather than renting the most recent one. And if you decide that you hate it, you could sell it for $1,000 or $2,000 less than you bought it for, rather than after 3 years and spending $30,000 in this vehicle, you're trading in and you have nothing to show for it. I've heard a lot of people talk about leasing for the tax benefit of the bed. It just seems penny wise, pound foolish. I mean, I'm gonna be able to write this off on my taxes. But, oh yeah, but that's still money that you could have paid yourself. If you owned the vehicle rather than leasing the vehicle, okay, so you get to write that off on your taxes, but you could have paid yourself that salary instead of just having a write-off on your taxes. And in addition, after 3 years, you don't have to make another payment on another vehicle, because after 3 years you have a vehicle.
Careful, you're being too logical.
Well, there are people that say there's maintenance and I don't want to deal with the maintenance after 3 years.
Oh, they're just thinking about excuses.
Well, you would be better off. You could actually buy a car, 3 years, buy a 2019 car in 2021. In 2024, sell the 2019 car and buy a 2022 car, and still be better off than you were leasing.
Yeah, because at the end of
leasing is so expensive.
At the end of your 36-month lease, you walk away with nothing except patting yourself on the shoulder, saying, "Oh, I had an expensive car for 3 years." Do you know what I think about those people? The people who can't afford the cars outright? They tie their self-worth so much in an inanimate object, it's sad. I have no problem driving a 2001 Toyota Corolla because I don't tie my worth into that car. It gets me from point A to point B.
It also has its max speed is about close to the max speed that you feel comfortable driving in. I'm pretty sure that car doesn't go over 20.
It can go on the highway.
I don't think that car goes over 18 miles an hour.
It can.
I don't think you've ever driven it over 18 miles an hour.
No, I have. I've actually gone on the highway.
How fast have you gone on the highway?
I think like 55 or 60.
And what was the speed limit on the highway? Probably 70 or
no. No, that car's been driven around.
Erica's I love watching you go 20 miles an hour under the speed limit.
Yeah, I drive like a grab. I'll be honest about that. I'm not the best driver. I've said that.
No, you're going to become a better driver, though. It's not about that. You're going to become better because you're going to practice with me. So, it's going to be fun.
Yeah. So that's the reason why I say what I say. The people that I've known, and this is not just limited to a few experiences, this is what I've noticed generally, mostly in males. Sometimes they feel like they can't get game, so they buy this expensive car. There was this one guy, right? He could not get a girlfriend. So you know what he did? He bought a $60,000 car. How much did he make in 1 year? $40,000. He thought if he had a brand new car, all the chicks would come and see him, right? The chicks would be attracted to him. You wanna know something that idiot didn't think about before? If you go to a club, how is the chick gonna know about what kind of car do you have if the car is sitting in the parking lot?
When you ride up to the club, they don't. But the thing, if you're gonna ride up to a club and expect that women are gonna be attracted to you based on the car, it's got to be like a Lamborghini or some shit, not a fucking Mercedes E350 or.
No, it wasn't even a Mercedes. I think it was Audi, but I might be remembering it wrong.
But
it was not something that if I was in a club and some guy rolled over, I would even turn my head. I'd be like, oh, okay, whatever. It's a car. It's a black car, white car, whatnot. Now, if someone rolled up in a gold chrome Lamborghini, which is my dream car, by the way.
You drive at 10 miles an hour. What do you?
What? That, you know what? If I had a lot of money, I would love to own a gold chrome Lamborghini.
Why do you want to own a Lamborghini when you drive slower than Oreo walks?
Huh? Just because I think it's pretty. What? I could look and be like, ooh, shiny. I would hit up Dollar Tree. I would hit up Goodwill. I would hit up, places like thrift stores and go to Whole Foods and go to Trader Joe's, and then I would drive my butt 25 miles an hour back home.
In a Lamborghini.
Yeah. I would go to Daiso too. I would not change my lifestyle just because of the Lamborghini. I would just be like, this is a pretty car, and I would love to have like the dark tints, because if I was driving at night and some guy in a racer mobile is like, ooh, I want to race this gold Lamborghini, you know what I do? I'd roll down the window and I'd blast pop music. That would be my thing. I'd be like, hey, hello, roll the window up.
That's
it would
not the
speed.
noise you would make.
And I would roll the window up, and I would not speed. I would be going the speed limit. I would
That's
not be
not the noise
pushing
you
a
would
Lamborghini at all near anywhere at the speed limit.
There's a
I just like
specific
them.
noise that you would make, and that's not it. Yeah, she's giving me the look.
Don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, so I just like the image. I just like the look of a gold Lamborghini. It wouldn't be to make people feel bad or anything. I just think it's a beautiful car. That's it. I saw it online, and the first thing I thought when I saw it was it's like the most beautiful car I've ever seen. And there's something about the gold chrome. So like regular Lamborghinis, I'm like, whatever, I don't care. I don't think they look that great.
Gold chrome Tesla
But
Model
gold
3?
chrome Lamborghini looks like the ultimate like vroom car. But I would only go speed limit. I would not speed. And I would have a custom license plate. You know what it would be? Oreo kid. I kid. I probably wouldn't have a custom license plate. But I think it would be fun. Everyone's like, oh, hey, nice car. And I'm like, yeah. And then they see in the passenger side window, or the passenger side seat, Goodwill bag, Dollar Tree bag. What? I just think it's a pretty car. That's it. But the maintenance costs and insurance and I don't know. It's fun. It's pretty.
Say maintenance.
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 But unless I had at least $2.5 million, I would not get a gold chrome Lamborghini.
And then you get a normal silver Lamborghini.
No. I would just get like a regular Toyota, until my $2.5 million came in. But $2.5 million, that's when I would get the gold. It would be great. I'd also bring it to the car wash all the time, and then I'd make sure I have a little, the little vacuum, your own little vacuum, and then I could vacuum the car and things like that, and it'd be pretty. I really like how that car looks. I don't even know how it drives. I have no idea how it drives. But there's just something so beautiful about that gold chrome wrap Lamborghini.
I want to drive a Lamborghini one day with you in the seat and see how you react.
Huh? No, I wouldn't react at all if you go speed limit, 25 miles an hour.
That's possible.
But here's the thing, I would not drive a gold chrome Lamborghini to our local Dollar Tree because there's no parking. It would be somewhere where they do have parking. And it would be great, It would be great. I would also, like, if I had a gold chrome Lamborghini, if I saw a little kid staring at the car, I'd be like, do you want to go in the car and sit in there? Do you want to take a picture next to the car? That kind of stuff.
Imagine him driving it, you're getting scared.
Oh, yeah. I'd be like, insurance rate. Man. No, but I think that those kind of cars, it makes people think about it, and I wouldn't mind having a license plate holder or something like that that says, you know, like, I don't know, something like, you know, you can buy this if you work your ass off or something like that. I don't know, something like that.
Oops, upside the head. Oops, upside the head. Oops.
But that is my little car that I really want. So law of attraction, wherever you are.
I'll get out of here.
What? That would be my dream car. But until that, Toyota it is.
Hey, hey.
Do you think I would ever get a gold chrome Lamborghini if I had $2.5 million? Hard to say, because if I did, it would definitely be pre-owned. Because I would not want to buy a new one.
Take exits on the right.
And then it would also knock me down from 2.5 down back closer to 2.
I think you would rent it.
You would rent it?
You'd spend $2,000 to rent it for a day, but I don't think you'd be able to live with the guilt of spending that much on a fucking car that you're never going to use.
Yeah.
And you're never going to use it. You're never going to even go into second gear.
I wouldn't. I'd be all like, I'd be going as fast as this.
No, you'd be going
What?
in first gear, 10 miles an hour on the highway. Everybody honking at you.
You know?
Also, you wouldn't be going this fast either. I don't think you'd ever go at 66 miles an hour.
Better off with
Oh,
a
wait a
little
second.
white Toyota. Yeah, but you know what I should have a bumper sticker? Or it's
Sponsor a highway. Did you see that? Well, when you sponsor the highway, you get this sign you could barely see. It said Oxford Casino, but the only reason I could see that is 2013 vision.
like-
If I had 2020, I don't even think I'd be able to read that damn sign.
So yeah, if anybody is feeling insecure about their car, they feel like they got a 2002 car or, you know, like an Acura or something like that, and you see all these Mercedes and BMWs and Lexuses and Audis drive past you, that kind of thing, don't feel insecure about your car, because chances are your car's already paid for, and you take a lot of pride in that fact. A lot of people,
It
right?
may be if it's a piece of shit, it's your piece of shit, and that's
It's your car. You
take
own it.
more pride in the fact that it's your piece of shit than in the fact that it's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how nice something is if you don't fucking own it.
Now
Just
keep
my
right
thoughts.
to take Front Street.
So if anybody saw me riding around in a 2001 Toyota Corolla, would I be embarrassed? I'd be like, no, that's my transportation. I could take the freaking city bus, right? Nothing embarrassing about that.
In 1,000 feet, keep left to stay on West Salmon Street.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Alright, this is the kind of area that's closer to New York City and New Hampshire than every place else we've seen. It's still not a New York City-ish place, but it's like, they think the population here is 100 or 200,000. Granted, like, you know, Manhattan or Brooklyn, it's 2 million.
500 feet, turn left onto Elm Street.
Look, see, there's a parking lot with a bunch of cars in it.
Now
I have that
turn
damn
left
song
onto
from the
Elm
Gap Band
Street.
stuck in my head.
Oh, I'm tired of that song.
Oops.
Just like that
sorry,
song,
Jay.
Bad Habits song.
I
used to like that song.
wanna dance. Down. All right, everybody. I'll see you all in the next video.